And on the 29th day, Eve took Adam's hand as they stood blinking in the sun. They looked at the land spread out before them as the wind chased those clouds across the plains. Eve turned to Adam, looked him deep in the eyes and said, "Fuck, that garden was small. Fancy a margarita?" This is the 29th day. The age of gods, gurus, priests and bad mothers is coming to an end. And as we stand on the brink, adult orphans, we could be looking for someone to take their place. Anyone to take away this massive sense of space. But maybe, just maybe, you can notice that little voice saying, "What if I can actually be me now? I wonder who I am. Is there actually anything there at all?" We've killed the gods. We're the gods now. So how do you step into being a god? This podcast exists to explore this. I don't have the answers. You have the answers. So let's go play. Hello there. Welcome to the 29th Day podcast with me, Jessica Summers. Today's episode is entitled Religion, Experts, Being the Source of Your Life and What That Means. I'm going to talk a bit about the opening, like, do we have to stop believing in God? Is that what I believe? What's that all about? I'm also going to invite you to identify the limitations that you are using to stop you from what you would like your life to be like, because you may be so focused on the problems, you've actually forgotten on the goals and dreams that the problems are hiding. I'm going to invite you to an unconventional method to let go of relying on other people to create your reality and step into accountability, which basically means having the power to design your own life. And you can also have your own hit list, a method of how you can change this by the end of the episode. So that opening, the gods are dead. You know, it's got a slightly religious overtone. Am I against religion? No, is the answer. This has been born out of something very personal for me. And it's been unavoidable that I head down this direction of stopping to look outside of myself for magic, for someone else's magic formula that's going to change stuff. And actually, I'm saddened when I see so much of this on Instagram, on Facebook. And I shouldn't be saddened because it is the old reality. There is a new reality available whereby we acknowledge that we ourselves are a part of God, that God is within us. I don't particularly use the word God. What I identify with is that all that exists is such an amazing system and an amazing power, and we are part of that. Every atom of us is part of that. And so if we are part of all that is, if we are part of God, if that is how you choose to see God, then we have the power, the divine power. We have the divine right to engineer our own lives. We have access to all that is, being a part of that. And we don't need to find someone, a being, an expert, a modality, a formula, a company. We don't need to find any of these things to give us the answer anymore. And this podcast also acknowledges that it's really hard to step away from having the big parent, the big entity to look after us and give us the answers, and to just let go. And it is like that mother relationship where as a baby, we just melt into our mother. We can just let go of our worries and lean on mother. And that time is past, and although it may feel lonely, although it may feel scary, it's also incredibly exhilarating, incredibly liberating to realize that we don't need to feel afraid anymore. And really, this is everything that I care about. This is everything that I do. I have this sense that there are people out there, maybe you are one of them, who look at thought leaders, spiritual leaders, or leaders in whatever area that you are interested in, and you think, well, I can't do that because I can't be like that. I say, good. I say, you're the one. You're the one we're looking for. You're the one who knows how to lead from togetherness, even though you may not feel that now. And we do this by accountability, by being willing to experiment with life, to be an artist with our own lives, to number one, not have the answers, not pretend we know the answers, because really all you're going to create is something that's already existed if you already have the answers. And a willingness to be seen to not have the answers. That, I would say, is the new definition of vulnerability, is to be seen to not know, to be okay with being curious and not having the answer. This is the way new things can come into the world. And with that in mind, I created the 28-day challenge True Grit. I didn't have anything in mind. Perhaps it was God who gave me that answer. It came like a flash of light. I remember being I'm not a fan of Paul McCartney. I'm really sorry if you're a fan of Paul McCartney. He's always just annoyed me. And when Paul McCartney used to say that the songs just came into his head, fully formed, and there they were, for some reason, this is a few years ago, it really annoyed me. I thought, oh yeah, right. But actually, that's what happened with the 28-day challenge True Grit. And I think that's what's happening for lots of us now, is that ideas are coming into our head pretty much fully formed. And this is how it showed up for me with True Grit. And really, although I say with all of this in mind, I did not know what I was doing it for. I felt like I was going to look like a fool. I thought, oh, here I go, some other experimental idea of mine that I'm going to start and not finish. But I'm telling you, I couldn't ignore it. It was so strong for me that I had to do this 28-day challenge. I had to, with 1 day's notice, advertise it on Facebook and create an event. It was scratchy to say the least. And I had to just let go of being able to control the whole thing. I had to put something out there, half-baked, because I knew that was what was required. And from that, I became aware of a new kind of leadership, the kind of leadership that exists to bring other people into leadership, to do it together. The South African word that my friend mentioned to me, she sent me an amazing post, and some of you may be aware of this, is Ubuntu. And it basically means without us all getting there, we're not getting there at all. And so if this is speaking to you, are you that kind of leader? Are you the kind of leader who can show up, be prepared to let go of control and to actually look like you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and to share that space with others? because that's why true grit exists. And the thing about God and all of those entities, and I'm going to tell you another story. Listen, guys, I went to another expert. I did it again, probably so I could tell you all about it. But I did it again, and it gave me even more awareness that this is not what we need to be doing right now. So the rule with God is, this is my new rule for me. When you're ready to commit 100% to something, even if you don't know how, you're just like, I'm doing this. I'm shutting the back doors, cancelling the insurance policy, closing the escape route. When you're willing to do that, then ask God. Not before. And of course you can. You're free to ask God without being willing to commit. But you'll just have to see what happens there, won't you? I suspect I can predict what will happen then. Because here's the thing, I actually have this other theory. And it is that the one thing we're avoiding is committing to something 100%. I'm gonna ask God. I'm gonna pay that coach. I'm gonna buy that course. I'm gonna see that expert. I'm gonna read that book, like whatever it is. We're actually avoiding committing to our lives 100%. Why are we avoiding committing to our lives 100%? Because it works. So, what is it that you have always dreamed about doing, and it may not be in your head? This may be something much deeper. You may have a much bigger story about why you can't do it. For example, I said for a couple of years before I chose to do it, I really want to live abroad. I really want to move abroad. But, I don't think my husband would go for it. I just don't think he could do it. And my daughter, I've no idea how she would survive, how she would cope. Okay, I said all this before I'd even asked them or talked to them about it. So I wouldn't have ever said my dream is to live abroad, to emigrate, to take a big leap. Because it was so scary. I couldn't have that as a dream. It was never a dream. It was like a horror story. Oh God, I know that's what I need, but I can't do it. So just take a minute here. Explore. Do you have something, even if you have emigrated already? That may not have been the big scary thing for you, but do you have something that you've made into such a big problem? It's no longer your dream. Yeah, there's a kernel, a seed of a dream in there. Can you just, like an archaeologist, begin to excavate that dream now? To just chip away, layer by layer, gently, blowing away the dust from that dream, blowing away that dust that could be a dust of problems, a dust of limitations. And let's just assume that your unconscious mind is actually beginning that process now without you having to do anything. Can you allow that if we are multidimensional beings, that's beings who are existing in many different spaces at the same time, that you are also existing in a space that can listen to my words and can act on them without your very limited, may I say, conscious mind having to do anything at all. So, commitment, why we choose not to commit, maybe we're really, really scared of what would happen if we were too visible, if we were too available. Like, I know you. You're a control freak. You want to make sure that life stays how you want life to be. If you were really willing to be seen for what you know, even if you don't know what it is, especially if you don't know what it is, if you were willing to be seen and known for being you, What if you never had private time again? What if people held you responsible and accountable for their choices? Like, is that a great thought for you? It isn't for me. What if you had to get it perfect all the time? What if you weren't allowed to make any mistakes because you're visible? I'm not surprised you've been hiding. I would hide too. Wait a minute, I was hiding too, because this was my definition of what it would mean if I committed to my life. Something very different has happened. But anyway, I did say that I would tell you the story of my next expert that I've been looking to solve my life. So, moved from the UK to Montenegro. Can I just say the fashion sense is really, really different in Montenegro. I also am aware of the energy much more than anybody telling me anything. We pick things up from our environment, from looking at billboards, adverts, seeing attitudes, whether we're seen at all. But that in Montenegro, young women, really young women, slim, booby, good looking, are really valued here. And older women, wisdom, all these kinds of things, not quite so much valued. It's a very male dominated society. And I have begun to change my perception of myself. Like I should say, it's changed. I don't want to do any spoiler here, so I'm not going to do a spoiler alert. It's changed, so a bit of a spoiler alert. But I found myself focusing on all the points of my body that made me look older or not perfect. And it was really getting very distracting. I could say it was getting really upsetting, really depressing, but really the bottom line was it was massively distracting me from what I was choosing to do with my life, which is to show up for you guys. And I saw a picture of a woman on Instagram. Oh, she was so beautiful, not in a conventional way. She had such a delicious sense of style. Something about her picture just drew me in. And she did this amazing job, which was to help women in holistic businesses to really connect with their sense of unique style. Okay, I know I said no experts, but please, can I just have this expert? Please, can I have this one? I can have this one. It's obviously God has sent me this expert on my Instagram feed to go follow her, and she's going to change all of this for me. And then this thing that actually is not just since I've come to Montenegro, it's a whole life thing. I said I'm on the autistic spectrum. I have a completely different view of clothes and what they mean than probably your average woman. So there it was. I dressed it up. A massive life problem was going to be solved by this expert. So I had some conversations with her over Instagram. And by the way, none of this is in any way criticizing this amazing young woman. But what it is doing is looking at her choices and what they're saying about her as well. So I got into this conversation, and straight away, like, there was no website. And I pointed this out to her. I've been trying to get hold of you, but there's no website. And she said, well, actually, I can get plenty of clients without a website. Oh, she said, attract clients. And I said, well, the website isn't necessarily just for you. Like, it shares information. Somebody could be lacking in confidence who's coming to see you, and they require to have more information about how you work to help them feel secure. Maybe you're too expensive for them and they want to know this. And I put this in a voice message, and she didn't answer any of those points. And then she let me know how she worked, which was she would ask me some questions. She would consider my answers and decide whether I was the right sort of person to apply for her program. I said, well, what questions are those? By then, you may be guessing how I was experiencing this. And I answered some of the questions, and then there was a lot of excitement about, I'm so excited to work with you on this. And I thought, I thought I had to answer some questions to apply. That seemed to have disappeared. And then She asked me the question, are you the kind of person who lets money, time, limiting beliefs stop you from achieving what you want in life? Oh, that pissed me off so much. And I realised it pissed me off because it's not a question, it's just a manipulation tool. And I saw this woman's brilliance. I saw how what she was offering is exactly what women, and probably men too, require right now. They require her services to really connect with their own sense of self and be seen. It was a lot about being seen. And I thought she was amazing. And what she did was amazing. But all of these tools of manipulation to not tell me the price, like the question was obviously the precursor to her telling me the price, which I would have been happy to pay if she'd have been straight with me. And my daughter was in the car and I was talking with her about this. And I said, there is only one answer I can give to that question. And the answer I put was yes. And that was that. I didn't engage anymore. Yes. I am the type of person who allows money to limit me, time to limit me, limiting beliefs to stop me from having my dreams. I actually do on occasion. You know, I'm not perfect. Maybe you do too. Because that yes and my refusal to justify my position gave her nothing to argue against, gave her no way where she had to justify her position and entrench herself in her rightness. What I've actually done is given her an option to consider her approach, and I've put a question in her world, and I really hope she explores that question and takes the opportunity, because I think what she has to offer is amazing. And what then? Do we not go to experts? Like, I expect you to come to my website and buy my stuff and change your life, but hey, I don't need to go to anyone else's website, buy their stuff to change my life. No, you see, this is why it was so amazing to get in touch with that person and get clarity on this. What I expect is that I will only work with people who see me as a gift and are honoured and delighted to support me to access my own gifts. That's all I want. I don't want any more experts. I expect you don't want any more experts. What I did afterwards was I got really present with the issue. And I did a hypnogenics session with myself, which is what I do with other people. I sat down and I did it with myself. And it's changed everything. Have I got an amazing sense of style? No, not really. Have I got a great deal more joy and respect and honouring of my body? Yeah, I have. Am I totally there yet? No. And maybe when I followed this process more and more, I will find someone who I'm willing to work with on this. Or it may be that I really don't think it's that important for how I appear to other people. It's really unique to me. This is not to say that any of this you have to agree with my point of view. You're going to have your own points of view. You're going to have your own places where you think you can't solve your problem. You can't get over this thing that's limiting you. Okay, it's not necessarily closed for you. I'm just sharing what this was for me. Now, what I would like for you now is, you remember earlier looking at what are the things you've had to hide, the dreams you've had to hide from yourself that may be problems. So look at what you're always trying to change. For me, the past 2 years since lockdown, maybe, I'm always not comfortable with my clothes, and I know I'm not alone in this. They kind of don't seem fit for purpose. So number one, find something that you're always trying to change. How does it distract you and limit you? This is the first question. And I'm going to write all these up for you, so don't worry. How does this thing that you're trying to change constantly, how does it distract you and limit you? So for me, my body and how it appears means that how this shows up and distracts and limits me is that it means that I'm never present with my life. I lower my confidence by saying, until I've sorted this, I can't be the real deal, I can't be confident. It actually saps my energy. And it actually creates the problem I say I want to change as well, by the by. So what is that for you? How does the thing you're trying to change distract and limit you? Just brainstorm this, make a list. Now the second thing, I said it was unconventional. I would like you to find somebody who solves your problem, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Facebook, websites, a book, I don't know. And I would like you to book a clarity call with an expert. Now, it's a valid way of changing things, so you can get more information about how you could change your problem, inverted commas, with an expert. They're always really happy to chat about how they can change your issue. Okay? Now, I'm not being cynical here. Talking to this young woman really gave me so much more clarity on my issue, and I want you to get really present and have total clarity with whatever issue you're avoiding. Thank them. Don't commit. You may find you actually want to work with them, okay? But then ask yourself, if I'm not committing to me 100%, can this person change things for me? Okay, I don't know what the answer is for you, but I would like you now to write a list of what you would do to change it if you were truly committing 100% to the issue, to changing it, no matter what. So no matter what, I am changing this. I will do whatever it takes. I will, I don't know what your issue is, but I will cancel all my appointments. I will stop doing this so that I can focus on this. If you are just whatever this takes, I am changing this. And you put aside everything else you're allowing yourself to focus on and distract yourself with. If you just took this one thing that you're always trying to change, you gave it 100%. Write a list of all the different things you would do to change it. You've been listening to the 29th Day podcast with me, Jessica Summers. The next round of the free challenge, True Grit, is actually beginning on the 19th of September. Now, this challenge exists so that you can stop leasing your life and totally own it. I'm demanding nothing less than total freedom. You can find out more and sign up at www.jessicasummershypnogenics.com, or you can just check out the show notes for a link. I mean, what have you got to lose apart from your programs and your limitations? I'm so looking forward to growing and expanding together with you.